We have some young ladies that are here this morning. Speaking of young ladies, one of the former members of our lamb service, he's far too old and too big for lamb service now, but I received a report, Andy told me this morning, that this week, Cayman Hubbard, Beth's son, has given his life to Christ. He gave his life to Christ. Cayman's always been a good boy, just a good kid, and recently I saw a picture of him. I think he has his driver's permit now, and my goodness. And it's been a little while since we've seen him, but we keep in touch. Beth had a birthday, I think, last week. We keep in touch with Beth and Cayman, and just thank the Lord for him. I have a lamb service today. Doesn't make any noise, or we had a lamb service a couple of weeks ago that it made noise, and some of you could hear it, some of you couldn't. So that was the whole point of that. But I didn't know how interesting this one might be. Maybe just coming down here to the front, so just enough racket and rigmarole that you might find. But it's kind of a show and tell today. Now I want to show the kids something. Now some of you older people are going to know what this is. When you see it, you'll recognize it. Please be very quiet. Don't say anything out loud, okay? If you do, it'll spoil the lamb service. So when I show you this, and it might be pleasant if you don't know what it is either. Maybe that means you're not quite as old as you think you are. But I'm going to show this to the kids. I was just wondering, when I picked this out, if the children, especially the older children, would know what this is. I have a hint that goes with it, but then the lesson today is about this. Let me show you something. This belonged to my mother. So adults, be very quiet. Let me show that. Has a little handle on top. I'm watching especially Avery and Addison. Now, Avery kind of has a quizzical look on her face. Addison kind of looks like she thinks she might know. So let me start with Avery. Avery, do you know what that is? You don't know what that is? All right, hold what you got right there. Now, without saying what it is, Addison, do you know what it is? You don't know what it is either. Wonderful. That's actually good. That's okay. This is a lens. This is the viewfinder. This is a Kodak Brownie Hawkeye. And when I was a little boy, they just called it the Brownie. Mom would say, let me go get the Brownie. That was my mother. Mother would go, and let me show you something. Let me see. Okay, Avery, I'm going to put something with it, and then you tell me if this helps. You figure out what it is. This goes onto the side. It's just like computer science. It's like rocket ships. So that would fit to the side. It had some little electrical. Did that help, Amy? Do you know what it is now? No. Okay, Addison, do you know what it is?
It's like some kind of camera.
It's some kind of camera. That's right. This is a camera. And how many of you recognized it when I pulled it up? Yeah, y'all seen a box camera. There you go. And Mom would say, I can't find the Brownie. Or the Brownie, it was in there. It's in the top drawer. And I remember my mom and a lot of the old photographs. I'm like the keeper of the archives in our family. So I have all the old photographs. Many of my favorite, cherished family photographs were made with this camera. Now, let me show you something. You know, you think you take a camera and do like that? That is not how this worked. The viewfinder is right here in the top. And if you're going to use the Brownie, you had to look through here, and actually you're all upside down. And then the snapper's right here, and you click. You had to put a roll of film that was on a spool inside here, and you had to thread it so that part of the film went in front of the lens. And you had to load that film in the dark. You couldn't just do it out here in a room. It would ruin the film, and it wouldn't take any pictures. So you had to go into a dark place, or nearly pitch dark, and put that film in. And and every time you took a picture like this, they'd say, okay, everybody smile. You had to be very still. Click. You could hear it click. You had to click it with your thumb. And then you had to turn this right here, and you had to make that film advance to the next area. You just couldn't just take picture. Take hundreds of pictures with my phone. But you had to turn it so that when it went to the next piece of film, then you take another picture. This is if you were taking a picture indoors, inside. You would put a bulb in here, a light. You would screw that in here, and then when you press the button, it would flash. This was the flash attachment, and it would knock your eyeballs right out. A big old flash of light, and it would like that, and it would make a loud popping noise. And something I learned before somebody told me: do not touch the bulb. If you ever reach up there, that thing is hot. You have to let it cool off. And every time, if you're going to take another picture, you have to wait till that cools off, unscrew it, get another bulb, put it in there, because it wouldn't flash. It only flashed one time. And you had to throw it away, the bulb. Unscrew it, put a new bulb in, take another picture. Camera. How far we've come. Now we just have pictures on our phone and really take wonderful color pictures or movies and videos. But this is the old Brownie Kodak. I'm not even sure if Kodak is even still in business or not. They may be completely out of business. Google that for me, Andy, and find out if Kodak still exists. We bought Kodak film, and when you finished that up and you went back into your dark closet and you rolled that up and put it in a sleeve, then you had to go take it to a place where they would develop it for you. You couldn't just get it out of the camera and say, everybody look at my pictures. You had to take it to town, to Woolworths or something like that, or to a Rexall, to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Where?
Like Super X.
Super X?
Drugstore, yeah.
Well, this was even before Walmart, but it's something like what we're going to. And then eventually they had little bitty buildings that they popped up everywhere. But those are long gone too. And then they say these will be ready in about 2 weeks. And you'd go back and you'd be so excited, and they'd give you your pictures, and they were all black and white, and you'd go through them, and about half of them were not very good. They were out of focus, or too much light, or not enough light. But then every once in a while you have some good pictures, and that's why they made pictures. In the story that we're going to be looking at in the Bible today, Jesus made it possible for a man who couldn't see, a blind man, to see. He helped a blind man see. And the funny thing is that when Jesus started healing him, everything kind of looked blurry. Started out kind of blurry. You know, Jesus asked him, he said, "What do you see?" And you know what that man said? He said, "I see men like trees walking." He said, "I see people, but they look like trees walking." I don't know what he thought walking trees looked like, but he said, I'm doing my best, Jesus, to tell you what I'm seeing. He'd never seen anything before. And I don't know if he knew what a tree looked like, maybe he just knew what a tree felt like. But all of a sudden, you know, and what Jesus was doing to him, or for him, it took a little while to set in. Sometimes what Jesus is doing in your life, it takes a while, okay? All right. And when you took pictures a long time ago, it took a while. And sometimes when you got your family photos back, a lot of them just look like men, like trees walking. Some of them were out of focus. That's my mom's old Brownie camera, and I keep it on a shelf so that I can look at it, and every time I look at it, I can see her peering down like this, taking my picture. All right? Y'all are so good. Daddy, you win a prize. Mimi, you do this all the time, so you're a pretty good wrangler. But thank y'all for coming down. I don't know if that meant anything to you at all, but I don't have any film for this camera or a light bulb either. So thank you for letting me show it to you. It's a good memory for me. Thank you very much.